Hello, and welcome to Please Don't Send Me into Outer Space, the podcast intent on exploring all that science fiction and fantasy has to offer, one movie at a time. My name is Joel.
My name is Sarah.
And my name is Aaron.
I told you she'd be back. She's back.
You can tell my name is Aaron because of the anarchy symbol on my forehead.
Uh-huh.
A for Aaron.
The movie this week is Johnny Mnemonic from 1995, directed by Robert Longo and written by apparently William Gibson did the screenplay. Wow.
William Gibson did the screenplay?
Well, he's
for a short story book?
Only credited
movie?
writer, yeah. Interesting.
That's rad, by the way.
How did it turn out like this? Well, anyway, starring Keanu Reeves, Dolph Lundgren, Dina Meyer, Ice-T, Takashi Kitano, Henry Rollins, Udo Kier as Ralphie.
Ralphie.
Ralphie's a good name.
I mean, is it a good cyberpunk name, though?
Maybe.
It's not spelled how you'd think it would be spelled, though. It's R-A-L-F-I.
Oh.
I know why I never saw this movie before, but how is it possible none of us have seen it before?
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
I tried to watch this, but I'm a little bit of a movie narcoleptic sometimes, and I'll start a movie and just fall asleep. I'm sure you've seen that happen to me a couple times.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, good. And I'm glad you're pleading the fifth there. It's a good friend. It's a good friend.
I mean, if you were going to fall asleep to this movie, you would have to fall asleep in like the first 15, 20 minutes, because after that, it's kind of an action-packed thriller chase machine, I think. Guys?
Well, I normally fall asleep right around the time in this movie, because I've tried to actually watch this movie twice, I'll be honest with you, listeners, before this viewing with Sarah and Joel. But I usually fall asleep right on the time when Keanu Reeves puts the motion sensor thing on the door.
Okay.
For some reason.
When he's meeting with those people that want to hire him.
It's typically at the meeting point where I fall asleep.
Oh, I see. You're like, oh man, everything's going to be okay from this point. Might as well go to sleep.
I don't know. I have no understanding of my whatever condition you want to call it.
Narcolepsy. Yeah. Narcolepsy.
You're not alone, Aaron. A lot of people have it.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
You can find my GoFundMe. No, I'm just kidding. For my condition.
There's no way we're going to fix this condition. GoFundMe to buy him a K-cup machine so he can have instant shots of caffeine or something like that. Yeah. This is not a movie that, basically any of the cheesy garbage that I'd watched before the podcast, I watched because my friends were into it, and for some reason they were just not into this movie. Maybe because it was, it's not a good movie. It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie.
But it's just not, we were getting into the more modern cyber thrillers like, we didn't even watch Hackers, which is...
We haven't seen Hackers together yet.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, me and my friends didn't used to watch Hackers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I saw Hackers. But, I saw it with, like, my sister.
Because your sister was a hacker.
Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. We both had Napster.
We just exposed.
Dude, we had Napster, man.
Secretly.
We were downloading all those Metallica songs.
Oh, man. Lars is going to be so angry.
Come at me, bro.
Fisher Stevens is a hacker.
I could talk about hackers if we wanted to instead. I don't. Here's the problem with this movie. because of my wisdom teeth surgery, I don't remember what happened much. Look, I've heard a couple of podcasts about this movie.
Oh, okay.
So I know the story.
Yeah.
But I'm having very vague dreamlike imagery in my head when I'm trying to remember what was going on. So you guys have to guide me here.
It wasn't a dream. It was all real.
You were here, Joel, and you were magnificent that night.
Thank you.
So this movie basically starts with a man who is basically like a human flash drive.
He's a USB stick in human form.
That's
known
right.
as Keanu Reeves.
And the data just gets put onto a person's brain in this future 3 years from now. And then that person has to travel long distances, sometimes dangerous.
He physically has to travel, too.
Yeah, his body has to travel while he's struggling to keep the information and his own identity straight. That identity versus the information of the computer stuff was kind of Lawnmower Man-ish for me.
I get you. I understand what you're saying.
Which part are we talking about? Because there's scenes in this movie where there's a ghost in the machine, right? There's some woman's face that keeps showing up.
I didn't like that part.
Well, because it doesn't really have an explanation. I mean, they say oh, she was one of the founders or something like that, and she inputted herself in the computer. Wait, what? What? No, you're putting a little bit too much, paprika on this already tasty stew here, guys. Calm down.
I wish that part didn't exist. Don't give me flack for this. There's some stuff I really liked about this movie, but there was some stuff I really didn't like about it, too.
Oh, who's gonna give you flack?
Well, I know it's a classic, cyberpunk movie from the 90s, and Keanu Reeves is awesome in it.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves
nothing
actually
to
is
do
real
with
good
him. But there were some parts of the story, and there were some parts of the execution of it that I thought were a little odd, or kind of, there's some things that when I'm watching a movie, it's just I don't like watching this part. And I feel bad, but sometimes it doesn't work for me.
I mean, I don't think you have to worry about it. I don't know anyone that holds this movie in high esteem. I'm sure there are people that do like it. But
I don't either.
No, exactly.
But what I'm saying is I'm sure that there are some listeners who hold it in high esteem. And no disrespect to anybody.
Kim, do you hold this in high esteem?
This movie.
Spencer?
Well, what I'm going to tell you, Sarah, is don't worry. Be sure to give your honest opinion, because that's what we're going to do right now.
Let's talk about what works in the movie, because I think there's an equal parts of what doesn't work and what does work. And I'm really sorry. I'm still on drugs, so I'm having difficulty formulating sentences. And, ooh, that's a shiny light. Anyways, so about halfway through this movie, we get the only, my favorite part, which is Jesus. And it takes that long to get him. It takes that long to get Dolph Lundgren as this weird robot, Terminator style, pursuing. I don't even know.
Dolph Lundgren is so amazing in this movie in such a weird, creepy way. I just did not expect at all.
Me neither.
I did not expect
that was
it.
Crazy.
Evil He-Man, evil Jesus-loving He-Man coming at you.
He's got a knife
Johnny
with a crucifix that is a cross.
Yes.
A crucifix, but the bottom part is a blade, so...
And then he's got this, in his Bible, he has a little mini screen that he can talk to all of his clients in. And so he opens it up.
I mean, I could picture that being a panel in a comic book.
Yeah.
But to have it, in the early 90s or whatever, with Dolph Lundgren dressed as Jesus doing it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, it was so... Oh my gosh.
It's a funny concept. Oh, go ahead.
Things that worked for me in this movie, I felt that they did an exceptional job of trying to make it look like dystopian future. 2021 looked pretty ratchet.
I mean, I've heard that that's just New Jersey. That's the way Newark looks. But I think that I'm not, I can't bag on a city I haven't been to.
Okay.
It was probably Santa Paula. Anyway.
Well, I thought it looked pretty good, Joel.
No, it does. It looks, it was reminding me of something we haven't watched yet, Free Jack, the way it's just like a lot of people living on stairs and in the streets and stuff like that. But there is also certain parts where a lot of money has to exchange hands.
Yeah. Showing the unevenness of the world. Yeah.
Everyone who lives above is out of reach of the corruption that is happening below.
Yep. And everyone down below has to wear chainmail shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And
there's one cab.
Exceptionally crazy makeup. Yeah, one cab. The whole city.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, and Ralphie with his bodyguards.
Yep.
Look like the ladies from Liquid Sky, which we're going to have to watch for the podcast because that's a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
I know you don't know what I'm talking about here.
I've never seen Liquid Sky.
Sarah and I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I thought Sarah's eyeballs were going to fall out of her head because...
No. I'm glad you got her to the doctor as quick as possible.
Just not...
Save her eyes.
Maybe I won't do that to her. I don't know.
It wasn't good. Well, in my opinion, I didn't see the whole movie, but I didn't really want to see the whole movie.
Right.
The place I stopped.
I understand.
What we saw.
I hope you took enough ibuprofen to make it through the night after watching
I'll
it.
share a little video with you after this.
Yeah, what we saw was shockingly terrible, and
excellent.
I'm kind of excited to see the rest.
Well, now I'm pretty excited, guys. You know I like my bad movies.
Yeah.
I could watch some Zardoz.
Zardoz is a masterpiece.
I love Zardoz
compared
so
to
much.
what we're talking about.
Okay. All right. What's that, Joel?
The things that worked for you.
Oh, yeah. I really liked a lot of dystopian sets. I felt a lot of the extras were pretty awesome in this movie. It felt like pretty much about 5 to 10 minutes in, you're pretty immersed as far as how the world works and everything. The CGI internet scenes.
The best
kind of
are 100%.
My heart just like the Grinch, it grew 3 sizes bigger. It was just so bad good.
It was something.
It made me happy. It made me so happy that I kind of wish that 3 years from now, 2021, that's how we use the internet. Is we just VR in to do everything, and there's just solid, weird, clunky hands that you have to click on it.
Like a game of clacks or...
Yeah. It's the only way to use the internet.
Glover 64.
And Henry Rollins is the only doctor in town that you can trust.
He's the only one. He's really good because he must be smart because he wears glasses.
He did a fine acting job in this movie.
No, I was a fan of... I think Rollins, out of all of them, had a very genuine feel to his character.
Yeah.
As far as the script he was reading.
Yeah, Ice-T didn't really have anything to do except...
No, he looked cool. He had an anarchy symbol on his head and he had the goggles.
Mm-hmm.
He looked cool. And I felt he had the presence necessary for you to believe that he had a group of people doing stuff for him. But you're right. Not much profound came out of his mouth, unfortunately.
Yeah, he just inspired a bunch of hacky sack players how they were going to look after seeing this movie. It's not... I think it was working.
I thought it was just like the...
Oh, shit. I would have been one of those.
The underground people in Demolition Man.
Low-Tex.
Yeah, Low-Tex and the Rat Burgers.
Yep.
Having relations the old-fashioned way instead of the hunka-chunka or whatever we're talking about.
And that's kind of like in the Matrix, too. There were some things that were a little Matrix-y. The way he was experiencing all of this information and like what the secrets were. There's like a small mystery going on in this as well, but there's just a lot of action happening.
The mystery of what they put into his head, which in that scene where he's there's a scene where he's got 80 gigs in his brain for space for cargo, and on his way up he uses a space doubler. So
that's right.
160 gigs, but they need 320.
That's right.
Isn't that always the way?
We need 320 gigabytes.
For some reason, he wants to do this, even though he knows he'll be way over capacity.
Because it's going to pay off, give him the money to be able to get out of the job and get his memories back. So he can remember his, 5th birthday or whatever was happening at the end of the movie. When he lived in a castle?
Yeah, someone had a nice little privileged life there.
Like a mansion with a tricycle and balloons.
And ponies. Probably.
A little stranger. Now I remember I was an English lord the whole time.
I don't think they seemed like they were in England.
I don't know. That's just how that's why I associate.
That's how you remember the little stranger.
The big house with a large grassy area behind. It's like, that must be in England. They don't have houses like that in America. So there's the Yakuza in this movie too.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's there. They mention it very briefly,
there's
but
too many groups to keep up with, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think about the State of the World opener that we had with all the flashy lights behind the dialogue, the paragraphs as they were going by on the screen?
That was a lot of information. I felt like somebody was jacking information into my brain.
Downloading.
What I'm going to tell you two right now is I love that.
Yeah.
I love it when a movie's got so much that they need to tell that you're going to have to read a book before you see the movie to understand what's going on. For example, Dune.
Judge Dredd.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Yes.
I mean, that's the classic.
I don't know.
One.
Just saying, that's kind of a seal of authenticity for me that's being broken. And I'm like, okay, probably going to have fun with this movie because there's so much for me to...
building a lot of lore.
We shall tell thee of the mortals and the... See, what do you consider Kroll to be that?
Yes, I do.
With the intro,
yes,
it has given for me to know that stuff will happen.
As I just mentioned, Zardoz as well has a pretty good intro like that, but it's not writing. But there's a guy's head kind of floating in space in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch
just
that.
Like Dune, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm into that. I like some theatrical beginnings like that.
I'm waiting for a nice Blu-ray release of Zardoz. Somebody has to do that, with all the bells and whistles.
Please just do it. I want a nice Blu-ray too. I want the head, the floating head thing with the deep Blu-ray in the middle of it. In the mouth, yeah.
So this Yakuza group, though, they've got one guy that I can remember, and it's the guy with the laser floss.
Oh yeah, the head Yakuza.
Yeah.
Because the Chinese have Yakuza, right? Right, Joel?
Well, it seemed like they were like, whenever a company needs something, they send the Yakuza, anywhere? If a company in Mexico needs something,
send the Yakuza.
I'm like, okay.
I just figured that was another Demolition Man type thing, where, it was all, acquired into one area.
The Yakuza.
Beijing.
There was a merger, Yakuza merger.
Yeah.
Beijing is now part Japan or something.
Yeah.
Asia Major. That could be it. I mean, that's as good an explanation as any.
Yeah, I like where your mind went with that, Sarah. That makes perfect sense to me that the Yakuza just took over everyone.
The Yakuza recently bought out the Bloods and the Crips.
All organized gang, Yakuza, from now on.
The government tried to break it up, because it's, whatchamacall now? Monopoly, but then the Yakuza bought the government, I
believe it.
Well, it's because they merged with the Communist Party of the People's Republic of China.
Oh.
The party is now part of the Yakuza, so now, it's all mixed up. I'm just kidding. Anybody that cares, I'm just kidding.
Sarah's hacking at Gibson.
Yeah. Dang.
Jeez. So Johnny has to carry some stuff.
320 gigabytes.
Of something that he doesn't know what it is. And he doesn't get to find out because the people who are trying to ship it off, they all get killed while he's in the toilet.
Yeah, they all get shot.
I was just going to say, does he flush himself down the toilet? But no, we were watching Adam Ruins Everything, and there's a scene where he jumps down the toilet.
I am glad we get to see those Yakuza's fancy coats, though.
With very square shoulders.
Yeah, they had some fancy.
Rocking something.
That first fight scene was a little problematic, I think. It was good, but I feel like the set was like an obstacle for them to have to deal with.
Yes.
Like, maybe they practiced it somewhere else, and then they had to do it in the set, and the set was, like, way more stuff around.
I can see where you're coming from there, too.
Yeah. And even Keanu Reeves in that part makes a couple faces where, like, it almost seems like he wasn't, like, ready to be filmed.
Yeah.
Like, he makes a couple of faces where it's like, whoa, this is happening, like, kind of, like, funny, but also, like, the action he's doing while fighting.
That's the director wanted to catch him off guard. Like, yeah, we want real reactions in this movie, so.
And does he sleep with that girl in the beginning of the movie? Is that what we're supposed to know? He's got, like, a
prostitute, yeah.
I have a feeling that we're seeing it, like, after they've made love already.
Yeah.
Because later he's like, I want my $10,000 prostitutes. So I think that's what he was like in the fancy hotel with the, if he wants to save money for that surgery, he's going to get, step one, cheaper prostitutes.
So what? Oh. I thought she was the prostitute in the beginning.
Yeah.
She was. You're correct.
The main girl that he's with?
Oh, no. Dina Meyer? No. Those were not the same people.
She's more of a bodyguard.
Yeah, they didn't know each other. And she was at the bar that Ralphie was at.
Right.
And she was like, I could be a better bodyguard than any of those two weirdos. And then stuff happens, right?
Yep.
And she ends up bodyguarding Johnny.
For $50,000.
And that's the end of the movie. Yeah.
Oh, end of the movie. No, we gotta talk a little bit more about Jesus Terminator.
Jesus.
Things that worked for me were like definitely some of the costuming was cool, like some of the suits, but it was very 90s suits. And let's see. I liked Keanu Reeves' character, and I liked kind of the premise of it. But one thing I did not like was the part where we were just looking at the bridge for a long time.
Yeah.
But we got to meet those two weirdos that were like manning the guard tower.
And dropping VW bombs.
Yep.
I gotta say.
And then they get blown up by a rocket launcher.
I agree with you, Sarah. That was like the weakest part for me, too.
It's like, let's get out from under this bridge.
I mean, all Keanu's doing is just sitting there shouting.
The thing that didn't work for me mostly was we kept going back to Takashi Kitano, who was like the boss guy, who obviously English wasn't even a second language for him, but he did have some scenes where he spoke some English. But it's just like they kept trying to make it seem like he was going to be troubled by, what was going on, because it turns out the information that Keanu Reeves has in his head is a cure for this like techno disease that called the Black Shakes or NAS. And I guess he knows that he has it, but he sends the killers, he sends the Jesus, but at the end he's like, no, you should go release it anyways. Dude. Cowabung.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make any sense. Because he's been pretty ruthless.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just forfeit. I don't know.
He just was like, you're too good for me, Johnny and the dolphin.
I resign.
There's a dolphin in this movie. Did we mention that?
The dolphin transcends space and time and goes into a virtual reality where you can ride that dolphin to your inner truth.
My heart. Like the Grinch, 3 sizes bigger. As soon as I saw that dolphin fly through space,
steampunk,
through the internet,
techno,
like wave race,
industrial techno dolphin.
I felt the eye in my mind opening, my mind's eye.
Mm-hmm. Henry Rollins knew that dolphin was there, but he didn't tell him it was a dolphin. He just said he was in the Navy.
That's right. He didn't tell Dolph Lundgren about the dolphin either.
No. And so when Dolph Lundgren shows up, the dolphin has to take him out.
Dolph v. Dolph fight.
Mm-hmm. So good.
Sonic waves.
I started applauding the movie while we were watching it when that happened.
Yeah,
I started clapping.
Pretty insane.
And the award for the best dolphin versus Dolph Lundgren fight goes to...
That made my night, guys.
Yeah.
Like, that really made my night.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I wondered why you just stood up, put your arm in the air, and froze in place.
I did that too. Like a 1980s movie.
Like it's the end of the credits. It's the end for Aaron.
What was I gonna say? Sorry.
You're good. Don't worry.
What do you guys think of Dina Meyer in this movie as the bodyguard lady?
I took her acting seriously. She was pretty committed to the character she was playing.
Uh-huh.
I found the character a little bit annoying, but I think that she does some badass stuff.
I don't like that she's got that sudden turn where she's like, hey, Johnny, let's make out now. Like, wait, what?
Right. Falling in love with the main character hero.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I don't blame her. It's Keanu Reeves, but...
I thought they'd already made love, so it wasn't that surprising for me.
You're like, she went out for ice and she just barely came back.
Yeah.
I found her acting, as Sarah mentioned, very believable. I think actually in this movie, her performance is important for you to have another perspective on this cyberpunk world that we're in. And so, yeah, I was really impressed with her like, trying to show Ralphie that she could be like the best badass, merc there.
Udo Kier and his weird ass face.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I just think it was important for you to have this believable cyberpunk world. You needed more than just Johnny Mnemonic and his USB port problem.
Right. You had to have some sort of club scene, which they had.
Which I'm really glad they had, actually.
Right.
With hardcore death metal and an opera singer.
I forgot the intro to Evanescence we got right there.
Oh my god, 1995, thank you for this.
Luc Besson spits on your movie.
It seemed like a lot of things got their ideas from this movie. Like, there were things people were talking about, and it was like a phrase that somebody else used later, and...
I'm wondering, like, 95 feels late for what this movie was doing, because, like I said, that's post-Jurassic Park, which doesn't really have anything to do with it other than, like...
the internet.
How gross the graphics are, and, like, they're terrible compared to what Jurassic Park was doing. Obviously, a higher budget, whatever. 1995, when did The Fifth Element come out?
I want to say 96.
97, so 2 years later. Yeah, they got no excuse. Never mind.
There was more than one thing that I was like, oh, this seems like an idea that somebody else took further in a movie after this.
So it had like the threads of good idea. I mean, they're all inspired by William Gibson stuff anyways.
Yeah,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Hackers was the same year in 95. For their hacking the computer scenes, they actually had models. This was all actual computer. And it wasn't the mind's eye. You know, Lawnmower Man had the advantage of the mind's eye.
That's true.
You're right.
This looked like, I don't know, a bunch of license plates flying by with neon lines.
I want to go to a club with an opera singer and some heavy metal now.
You can do that. I guarantee it. It's somewhere around in Los Angeles or whatever.
There has to be a place where that can be our reality.
Or we'll open it ourselves.
Oh, there we go.
It is now our reality.
I'll wear that chainmail shirt for you, Joel. It'll be great.
No. Johnny!
Ralphie!
See, I feel like Keanu Reeves in this movie doesn't get to do acting. Like, I think it's a hard character that he was trying to portray, you know? Like, he's kind of a selfish person who also, I don't even know.
Well,
like, he's used to working, you know, doing the dirty work and stuff like that, but he also has to have some sort of, like, his character progress by the end is that he has empathy for everyone else, because at first he's just like, I don't care, get it out of my head, I don't want to die. And then eventually he's like, I mean, not literally, not until like the last moment is he like, no, you're right, the cure is more important than
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
The self-interest is lost when he finally wants to help others.
And the Jesus bad guy is trying to stop him, but Johnny sacrifices himself to be able to get the information out so that people can be healed.
he hacks his own brain.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Once they have the pictures of that superhero. And
Yeah, what were the access codes again,
I
Joel?
don't know. You said, what'd you say it was Demon City?
Oh, they were watching Demon City, but for whatever reason, a superhero image flashed up.
Yep. Demon City, a thing that said whatever the medical facility is called, and then a picture. The last picture just happens to be a picture of the lady that the ghost in the machine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, how convenient. No, I don't know. They didn't fax it in time, though.
Nope. They did not fax it in
Oh,
time.
remember that part
Fax the images.
where he's like hacking it and he like hacks into the fax? There's one fax machine in all of Newark. or something.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
I assume that's what was happening.
I think that's what. Yeah.
I was looking at some of the trivia on this movie.
Oh, no.
It says that William Gibson was unhappy with what became of this, and he says despite being credited as the sole screenwriter, it wasn't his screenplay that was ultimately produced.
Oh, dang.
So, who was it? Alan Smithy?
I don't know.
A mystery.
Ghost written.
It also said that the reason Keanu Reeves got this project was because someone ran and dropped it on his doorstep anonymously, and that made him interested, so he contacted the information in it.
There's so much trivia specific to Keanu Reeves that makes it sound like you'll just like take a random script, because in that movie The Watcher, there's like a piece of trivia. It's like his he didn't realize he had signed up for The Watcher. Somebody signed up for him or something like that. Like, wait,
That's
what?
weird. I
Like-
mean, who knows how you make those kind of choices? I've heard Bill Murray's weird about that.
He used to have that answering machine,
Mm-hmm.
but now you have to track him down in the wild like Bigfoot.
Did you know that Keanu Reeves is actually dyslexic?
So he wouldn't be a good
That's
hacker? Is
not
that what that's trying to say?
No, they were putting him through that security test or something that was in the There was some test they did on him that was like the something dyslexia screen or whatever.
What?
That's crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I might have been out of it.
Yeah.
So what's your guys' favorite scene from this movie? And why is it the part where... Oh, geez, what happens in this movie? What?
Oh, man. There are just too many good scenes to choose from in this insane movie, Joel.
Oh, yeah?
I mean, the one that made me the most happiest we've already discussed, which is, of course, Dolph Lundgren versus Dolphin. I mean, that was just like primetime Johnny Mnemonic, you know? But I do appreciate, even though, as I mentioned earlier, I kept falling asleep, I did appreciate the beginning of the movie, the hit, like, trying really hard to, you know, make sure those guys know that he's gonna hold all that info in his brain. I definitely liked the bar scene as mentioned.
Well, they filled him up with that information, then he went straight to the bathroom. So do you think it was going to try to excise extra stuff?
I think he was just afraid he might die.
Just pushes on his colon.
Bleed everywhere.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I see.
I thought he might throw up some of the data.
Drops on those ones and zeros.
That's good. That's good.
Our Jesus friend, he's a killer. He takes out Henry Rollins, crucifies him. He takes out some random bartender, like freezes that guy's hand.
Yeah, what was the point of that? Like, that guy was just mean to be mean.
It was just torture, yeah.
Yeah, like, what for?
Well, you seem to, like, torture them and then ask the questions instead of asking a question and waiting for an answer.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do this anyway, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He may have been sadistic.
His hair like that was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Those luxurious locks.
Honestly, listener, just watch this movie for Dolph Lundgren. I mean, Keanu Reeves was amazing as well.
And the dolphin.
That's
the
good.
dolphin.
You got like 8 minutes in the movie you have to watch if you're
That's
just
right.
watching it for Dolph.
Well, Roland, I gotta say, Henry Rollins was amazing in this movie too. His like little monologue there to Johnny was really good. So, just about the state of humanity and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I liked it.
That's
Yeah.
up, Doc. No, wait.
And in fact, in my opinion, it was probably the most genuine part of this movie.
Because technology really is taking us apart, Aaron. That's why you shouldn't listen
Look,
to podcasts.
I'm just saying I could listen to Henry Rollins just rant for a while and it's okay. Everything's fine.
I think that like his last couple of solo albums are just that, so you're set.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe I'll go listen to one on my way home here.
Yeah, Henry Rollins was pretty good. And what else did I like? The scene I liked the best was what you were asking?
Yes.
The scene I liked the best, I think the scene I liked the best was the one where they caught him and she jumps down through the roof or whatever or she jumps into the room to save him.
Is that when they have him strapped to the table?
Yeah.
And is it the Yakuza guy who's wearing like the Patrick Bateman American Psycho?
Yeah.
So he doesn't get any blood on him.
Yeah.
A couple of people strap him to tables, getting ready to do something.
They tie him up. They strap him down.
Poor guy. I think my favorite bit was the whole battle scene between the the bows and arrows non-technology people and then the Yakuza.
The low-techs.
Because it was like all kinds of explosions and people getting like shot in the head. It was.
Oh yeah.
And like the whole base was falling apart. Like, yeah, that dolphin's not going to be able to hack you now, dude.
That was a pretty intense scene. Mm-hmm. Felt like a video game moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Intensify the action.
Yeah.
Step it up.
I felt like that part that happens where Ice-T is like coming down a wire silently.
Batman.
And like his kid friend died and he kills that other guy. Like, I thought that was kind of a weird little moment. But they try to show us that he's, like, more in with those guys than everybody else is.
Right. They also try to make him look like a total badass, but after that point, he doesn't really do anything except for lead him around, you know. Like,
That's
come this
true.
way, you're going to meet Jones. Jones is the dolphin. Living in his own filth. Only living to continue hacking. That's all we need. Also, their tower of TVs.
Yes, the end was really good, too. I mean, the end was pretty spectacular.
I loved it.
Took everything to the next level.
It ended... What about Keanu Reeves as himself in the computer program where he looks like...
Oh my gosh.
Looks like a man made out of bendy straws or something.
Oh my gosh.
Forgot about his avatar there.
GoldenEye 007.
Yeah.
Take that, Dr. Doak.
Someone squeezed him out of a Play-Doh machine or something.
Oh, and the legs were like these like lines that were like coming to a like teardrop shape. Yeah, that was odd.
It was pretty random.
Yeah, and that was just that was only introduced at the end, though, along with the dolphin, which was another, like, oh, the dolphin's in there with his avatar. How come the dolphin gets to look like an actual dolphin? No.
It's me against the machine.
Keanu is a plate of spaghetti.
Well, it actually probably comes down to is you can create your own avatar. And I have a feeling that maybe Johnny Mnemonic doesn't want to spend any time working on his avatar, whereas the dolphin has so much time to work on their...
He's got nothing else to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying. So what we're seeing here is time management issues.
Right.
The dolphin has a lot of time.
You need a robot to do it for you, like in The Matrix.
There you go. Well, I mean, we're all just part of a simulation, Joel.
What?
That's what I learned on YouTube.
I mean, I guess that's possible. This could have all been a simulation that he was going through in this movie.
Yeah, he could have woken up back in his bed with the prostitute, having just had a stroke. It was like all in his moments before his death. He had a really crappy adventure.
That's kind of Total Recall-y.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, that's a million movies. That's a Jacob's Ladder.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, spoiler alert: Keanu Reeves was in it the whole time. No, wait.
Oh shit!
I'm out of mnemonics.
Mnemonic.
I'm out of mnemonic devices.
Let's jack you into this computer here.
No, I don't want to.
How much information can your brain hold, Joel?
I hope more than 160 gigabytes. That's not that much anymore.
Oh no!
I got a drive downstairs that has like 5 terabytes, and I'm like, that's not enough.
How much information can you courier for us, Joel?
I don't know.
We'll pay you a lot of money.
Had like a 10 megabyte disk, and I was like, I'm never going to need more space. 1995. Whoa, 320 gigabytes. That's like the size of everything.
I think that's a bad usage of space. Like, if your
brain?
whole brain can only save that much data, there has to be a better way.
So we can assume that there must be people that can hold that much data. Do they must have even less memories than Keanu? Because it seemed like Keanu was only missing, like I said, his 5th birthday or whatever. Like, yeah, I don't remember any of my childhood.
Maybe it was before 4 or 5 years. Like, maybe he dumped all of that into a cooler somewhere.
Like, everything before I turned 14. Why 14? Because that's when I learned about naked ladies. What?
Are you accessing some memories, Joel?
No.
Are they in a cooler somewhere? Can we access that cooler real quick?
What? Stay out of my cooler.
No.
You got some cerveza in there?
I don't know. They did what they had to do in 2021.
Yeah, at least that's really far in the future. We don't have to worry about stuff like that. It took place in January, too, so it's like right in the beginning of the year. Corporations, at least they'll never be people.
Like Die Hard, you needed to know what time of year it was while this was happening.
Rocking around the mnemonic tree. Have a happy mnemonic holiday. Guys, I'm losing it. I can't...
I think we've covered this movie quite well.
I mean, who...
In my opinion.
Who should
Unless you want to talk
movie?
a little more about that dolphin.
That Dolph Lundgren? Yeah, he's gone like...
I think anybody who likes Keanu Reeves might want to watch it.
Yes.
And I think anybody who likes kind of bad movies might want to watch it.
Yes. I say yes to that, too.
That's the whole reason we watched it is we've got, John Wick 3 just came out.
Yeah.
And then Keanu's in a really funny movie called You'll Always Be My Maybe, which is on Netflix. And so I just had Keanu on the brain. So I was like, let's watch Johnny Mnemonic Drill.
And, well, I'm glad you had a good experience, even though you just had all your wisdom teeth out and you're high AF right now.
Go.
Let's wrap it up.
Hey, listener. Oh, wait, are we done? You guys okay?
We're good.
Okay.
We'll have a lesson for you soon, Joel.
Sounds good to me. You guys think of a lesson. I'm going to read the outro stuff to this podcast. I don't actually have anything I read anymore, but it's all in my brain. My brain. I'm sorry, the drugs are just hitting me really hard.
I hope you understand, Joel, that I'm having fun with this as well.
Hello, listener. If you'd like to write into us or with a suggestion or a recommendation or a recommendation, please write into pleasedon'tpodcast@gmail.com. Message us at facebook.com/PDSMiOS. Or you can hit us up on Twitter at OuterSpacePod. Or on Instagram at PDSMiOS Podcast. If you have a few bucks you want to send our way, we do have a coffee site. That's at ko-fi.com/PDSMiOS. And you can send us a little bit of money so that we can buy more drugs. No, I'm sorry. I meant coffee for Aaron so he doesn't fall asleep during your movie.
Or recording.
Thanks to Jed Dowtry for our podcast logo, to David DeRoy for our theme music.
We usually thank all of our faithful listeners.
Yes.
Thank you, listeners.
Thank you, listeners.
Including Scott.
Scott, thank you. That's the name I can
And
Scott,
we
Cherry.
thank everybody that gave us a little contribution to the podcast, like our art and our music.
I said those people.
And then
thank you to Aaron Cornelius.
And then we thank you, Joel.
For lamb stew.
Oh, you're welcome. That would actually Diane Cornelius. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you
for making
Aaron's
some
mom.
lamb stew.
Mm-hmm.
You rock, Mom, and I love you.
My lesson is that every movie should end with the secret dolphin reveal.
Yes.
Like, you take the Titanic, just imagine if a dolphin showed up. At the end of Titanic.
It saves Leonardo DiCaprio's character.
Exactly. Or maybe he's the one who drags him down in the deep. Either way. Or when she drops the jewel over the edge, it lands on a dolphin's nose and the dolphin swims off. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Independence Day would have been much better with the dolphin. I don't know how.
Well, actually, you could tie that back in because Will Smith was going to propose to his lady.
Oh, to his dolphin.
She likes dolphins, Joel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is a fact. But, the ring that you got
it was a
had
dolphin.
a dolphin on it.
Oh,
So that's
crazy.
what I'm saying. You could tie it back in with a dolphin.
I see.
Yeah.
Mm. And Mortal Kombat
Annihilation?
No, the original would ended with a dolphin instead of Shao Kahn.
What if the reveal was that he was a dolphin?
Hey, shut up.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, Joel. You're we know you're inebriated right now.
Sarah, do you have a lesson about dolphins?
My lesson from this movie is break it up into smaller pieces. Don't always feel like you have to do the whole thing all at once. Sometimes you gotta take it step by step so that you don't hurt yourself. So patience and avoid the underbridge areas of cities.
That reminds me of a little song that goes, I can't remember. Hey, Aaron, do you have a lesson?
Oh, lesson from Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh, I just remembered, Aaron. It goes, step by step, ooh, dolphin, gonna get with your dolphin. I'm gonna hate this when I have to edit it later, aren't I? Anyways, sorry, Aaron, what were you saying?
Oh, no, I hope you keep that in, Joel. I think that's kind of a requirement now.
No.
You probably should do edit light on this episode for the
I'm
listeners.
just gonna upload it.
Just upload it as
No, you better
a raw
not.
I think a lesson that I learned from this movie is if you happen to live in a cyberpunk town called Newark, be sure to drive a car around that's probably just a motorhome with a bunch of circuit boards glued on the side. Because, I mean, that's just what kind of makes your car look legit in the year 2021.
That's a Neil Breen production. That's not. Does it happen here?
Yeah, man. Did you not see?
But it said spider on the side. That's how you know.
It did say spider on the side of his car.
That's how you know it was legit.
So legit. That was my lesson, though.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sarah. We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you so
Bye.
much for listening to us.
Bye.